I would like this to be as okay. I like this to be as engaging as possible. So if we'll be using the chat box, kindly drop in the chat box where you are joining us from. And are you a career beginner or a career transitioner? I'd like to hear from you all. So kindly use the chat box. Where are you joining us from? Are you in Nigeria? Are you when sending out the news, I realized some of you are from Pakistan, India, and a lot of other places outside Nigeria. So please use the chat box and let us know where you're joining us from. Nigeria, we are in Nigeria, Abuja, Lagos, Kano, Abuja, Nigeria, amazing. Thank you. Who else? Who else? Who else? I like to do this under 5 minutes. Kano, Nigeria, amazing. Abuja, Nigeria. Okay. Who else? I hope we all know where the chat box is. Okay, if you can't find the chat box, you can just raise your hand so I know. Abuja, Nigeria. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's not waste each other's time. We'll be running very fast. So let's move on. Kano, Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you very much. So yes, the theme of the webinar is how to break into the job market in 2026 with little or no experience. And we have decided to make this into series. So we'll be having 4 series of this webinar, and this is the first series. And what we'll be looking at today is entry pathways for beginners and career changers. How do you enter the job market in 2026? Okay, so the webinar is going to be for this session. I'll try to keep the time and make it for about 45 minutes, where we answer questions for about 15 minutes, making a total of 60 minutes for this session. So I would not want it to be too lengthy, so we all gain 1 or 2 things from it. Okay? So about Cedar Royal, yes, you've been seeing Cedar Royal, you've been getting our meals and everything else. So who are we at Cedar Royal? Cedar Royal is a people-focused organization. And what services do we provide? We provide human resource consulting services. We provide agricultural solution, also into the solar solution. So yes, that is Cedar Royal. Okay. So why did we create this webinar? Why did we just sit down and decide, okay, yeah, let's have a webinar? So we realized that there is a rise in competition, especially in the job market. And we have also noticed that many beginners struggle. A lot of rejection mail, a lot of beginners are stuck. Even career changers, that people who have the experience are still stuck. So that is why we decided to have this webinar. And there are a lot of things people get wrong about starting their career or switching careers. So that is why we decided, okay, let's have a webinar and, put it out there, put the knowledge we have out there. Who is this webinar for? Fresh graduates, NYC members, students, job seekers with little or no experience, career switchers, and those returning to the job market or to the workforce after a break. Now, for these people, the last set of people, maybe took a break or maybe for personal reasons, for health reasons, for childbirth or whatever reasons, this webinar is for you. So we dive right into it, understanding today's job market. That's the first thing we'll be looking at. Please, if at any point in time you stop hearing me or seeing my screen, kindly let me know by using the chat box. Okay, so I'm sure we are all together. Okay, understanding today's job market. Now we'll be looking at what employers really care about in 2026. Now, a lot of you will say maybe certification, qualification, what you studied. Well, they are important, but what do we really care about as an employer? Right? 1, your practical skill. It is very important to us. What skill do you have? Aside having Gombe, okay. Aside welcome, Babayo. Aside having the whole certification, aside studying it in university, what skill do you bring to us? What are the things you know how to do? Your skill is very important, your practical skill. And I included practical there. So you would not just include a skill on your CV, and when it comes to actually working with that skill, you do not have it. So your practical skill is very, very important. Your ability to learn quickly and your adaptability. How fast do you learn? How fast do you adapt? It will be the joy of any employer, even if you're employed as an entry level staff and they see you grow, right? It will be the joy of any employer to see that happen. So, your ability to learn is what your employers, part of the things they really care about. Then, positive attitude and teamwork. Yes, very important. A lot of people, probably because it's an internship role or it's a volunteering role, you're just very, you do not really take it as serious as your employer would want you to. Your positive attitude towards work, regardless of the entry path where you took in, is very important. So why experience is not the biggest barrier? Why is experience not the biggest barrier for many beginners, career changers, and a lot of people that are just entering the job market? Many beginners are rejected due to an unclear positioning. It's not because you lack the skill, but you can't position yourself very well. And that is why many beginners are rejected. Now, understanding your employer is key. Your employer's priority is very important. And I'll break that down. Many of us beginners, we just apply for jobs without really knowing what the employer is looking for and why they released that job ad. You need to understand the company you're applying to. You need to know what they have, what they need, what can you bring to them, what services can you offer them. You need to make yourself valuable. That's why you need to understand your employer's priority before you do anything with regards to a company. Now, what are those things that actually get beginners hired? What are those things that beginners do that actually get them hired? The first thing will be clear presentation of transferable skills. Later on, we're going to be looking at what are these transferable skills, examples of these transferable skills, and how you can include these transferable skills into your CV. But clear presentation of transferable skills is one very important thing that gets beginners hired. Motivation and problem solving, like I said earlier, you need to be able to give your employer, your prospective employer, something to look forward to. What are you bringing to the table? And that's a very common quote. What are you bringing to the table? But yes, what do you have to offer to your employer? This is very important. Then relevant certification. Yes, it's not all about having a lot of certificates and not being able to prove your worth, but having certificate actually boosts you as a beginner. It boosts your CV, your presentation. It actually goes a long way. But in as much as you are getting this certification, please ensure that whatever it is that is in the certification, you can actually do it, right? Then your courage and professionalism. This is one part where a lot of beginners get it wrong. Let me break it down and I'll also give you an example, right? Let's say you're a beginner or a career switcher or a student, an NYC member or something in that line, and you applied for a job and you got invited to for an interview. And the interview is a virtual interview like this webinar we are having. Because it is a virtual interview, you decided you just look anyhow. You'll be on your bed doing like your presentation is zero. Now the first impression matters a lot, right? Which is very true. How do you present yourself? How do you carry yourself? Even if you're a beginner and it's a virtual interview, get a seat and a table. Look presentable, look official, be ready. Once they see you, they should see that professionalism in you. And that's where a lot of beginners miss it, right? Even going for a physical interview, sometimes when people are so unprepared, You're going for an interview, probably because you sent your CV to the during your application process. You do not go with your CV, you do not go with your certificates, you're looking rough in a way. Presentation is actually very, very important. And how do you speak at those interviews? Very important also, right? Do not go there and speak in an unprofessional manner. They might not say a thing to you about it, but it goes a long way in your grading, right? Now, what are the common mistakes that beginners actually make? What are the common mistakes they actually make? Waiting for experience before applying. Now, I'll be hammering more on the beginners and the mistakes they make, right? Let's say you want to go into human resource. Pardon me, I'm a human resource manager, so I like to use my field as an example. Let's say you're going into human resource, for example, and you're waiting till you get all the certification that you can possibly have in human resource. Maybe get certified by CIPM, get other internationally recognized certificates. You are waiting to do all of that before you actually start applying. Now, while I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm saying it's going to take a lot of time. So do not wait till you have all the experience, all the certification before you start applying. Once you are sure of the skill you have and you're sure you can use the skill you have, apply. There are entry positions, there are internship positions, there are volunteering positions that can help you build yourself more. So do not wait for all the experience before you start applying for jobs, right? Then some people apply blindly without understanding the job requirements. I love giving examples so we flow together with this. So sometime back, we released an application and the job requirements specifically said Abuja and Kano in the job requirements. And we got a lot of applications. Funny how the job requirements state Abuja and Kano, and some people that are not even in Nigeria, some people that are in different parts of the world were applying for that same job position. Right? Do you get that? Probably they didn't read through the job requirement. They didn't go through the entire process. They just saw, oh, there's a job, I have the skill, and they applied. Automatically, the job location is already Abuja and Kano. So if you're outside Nigeria, you're automatically off. If you are not in the location that was specified, you are also off. Except there's a clause that states other locations are, welcome to apply and but once that is not there, you need to know the job requirements. Some job requires certain number of years experience, 5, 6, 7, 3. And you are having 2, 1, and you are applying for jobs that require 6, 7 years experience. So we get that it's automatically not going to work. Now, some beginners overthink it. What if I apply and I do not get the job? What if I apply and they do not get back to me? And yeah, there will be a lot of jobs you will apply for and they will not get back to you. It's part of the growing phase. It's part of the process. So do not let that discourage you or prevent you from applying. Do not overthink your decisions. Once you are sure, move forward. Take that first step, right? Then not choosing a direction is another mistake. You see a lot of beginners, they see an opening for marketing and they apply. They see another opening for sales, they apply. They see another opening for customer service, they apply. No direction. You're just applying to all the job opening you can find, which is very wrong because I do not know how you want to, tailor your CV. And funny thing is, they use the same CV for all job applications. As a human resource manager, you will see a lot of things, right? So please choose a direction and stick to it. As a beginner, you can pick 1 or 2, explore them actively, and decide which you want to focus on, right? So let's move on. How do you avoid these mistakes? Build your skills, tailor your CV to each job. Do not use a generic CV for all job applications. It will not work. Yeah, keywords that 8 years, right, that we like to see in your CV. And once it is not there, their systems, their AI that screen out CV. Once you're applying for a job and the keywords that are required to be in your CV for that job application is not there, your CV might not even get to the HR manager. And that's just the honest truth. That's why a lot of times you apply for jobs and you do not get a response. They did not even see your CV to start with. Do we get it now? So always tailor your CV to each job application. Do not use a generic CV for all job applications, especially as a beginner. Understand the role you're applying to and tailor your CV to that role. Pick one or two career directions and explore them. I have already said that. Then start with beginner friendly roles, maybe volunteering, internship, roles that are not, that do not require so much experience or so much certification or so much skills. Start with those roles. Document your projects, document your learning. Have a portfolio if your field requires you to have a portfolio, especially if you're into tech, data analysis, and all of that. Have your portfolio. Then seek mentorship. Seek mentorship. Okay? Let's move on. Transferable skills. I mentioned that earlier. And I'll be talking about what are these transferable skills, right? And why do they matter? Now, what are transferable skills? These are abilities, these are skills that you have that can be applied across different industries. And I'll give you an example. Communication skill. It's a very important skill that you use both in customer service, human resource management, marketing, sales. That skill can be applied across many industries. It is a transferable skill. Teamwork, time management, problem solving skill, digital literacy. All those are examples of transferable skills that you can include in your CV if you have them as a career changer. Now, why do they matter? They show employers that you can contribute without having direct experience. They show your employer that you can contribute to their team even when you don't have the direct experience. That's for people with little or no experience, right? They help bridge the gap between your previous role and the new opportunity. That's for people who are changing careers. Now, how do you communicate these transferable skills? One, highlight them in your CV or your resume. Highlight them. Let it also be in your cover letter for jobs that require you to have a cover letter attached. And please, for your cover letter, do not use a generic cover letter. Do not just go to ChatGPT and tell them to generate a cover letter for maybe a customer service representative role. They will generate the letter for you. Well, oh good. But it will not be personalized to you. So even if you're going to use AI eventually, make sure you are giving the AI the correct prompts. Make sure it is personalized to you. It is for you, not a generic letter, right? Highlight them in your CV. Use real examples. Maybe school projects, community projects, volunteering experience. That is during the interview. If you are asked, state real examples. Demonstrate them during interview. Like I said, once you get to the interview stage and they're asking you questions relating to your transferable skills, give them real examples. Maybe say let's say a school project, for example, a volunteering project, and you're in charge of handling maybe 4 or 5 people to perform a certain task under a certain timeline. Make it like real. Give them the number of people you worked with. Give them what you had to do. Give them the processes you took in doing it. Give them the results you accomplished. Make it, relatable, not just a plain story or tell them to imagine it. No, make it relatable. Then focus on the result and the problem solving outcome. The result is actually very important. So when you're trying to prove that you actually have these transferable skills, do not state the problem and forget to state what you accomplished after solving it. Let's say you were given a task to reduce turnover in an organization, and you say, okay, we're given a task to do this, do that, do that. Then you forget to state at the end of it, I was able to reduce the turnover percentage by 0%. It does not look All those little details actually help you to prove that, oh, you actually did this thing, you actually understand what you're meant to do, and you actually got your results. Okay, so let's move on. The five main entry pathways. Yeah, this is the main discussion. What are the five entry pathways that you can take into the job market this year, 2026? And we have them listed here. We have the internship route, we have the graduate training or the entry level, we have the volunteering, we have project based or skill based, portfolio based, then we have remote entry level. Now, remote, we all know, working from home, right? So I'll be taking them one after the other, and this is what we're going to be looking at under each of them. Who is it for? What are the benefits? Why the company use it? What are the mistakes to avoid? And what are the tools and resources? So let's dive into it. Let's dive into it one after the other. We'll be starting with the internship route. Now, who is this for? This is for fresh graduates or even students. Yes, can also apply for internship. It's for career changers. If you're you're switching careers, and you do not have so much um you do not have so much previous experience or transferable skill, you can use the internship route. Then what are the benefits for internship routes? You gain practical hands-on experience. It builds your experience. It builds your professional network. Let's say you get accepted as a human resource intern at any human resource firm or any company. You get to meet you as an intern. You have probably 0 to 3 years experience. You get to meet people with 15 years experience, 10 years experience, also into human resource. You get to learn a lot from them. So it helps you build your professional network, which is very, very important in whatever aspect you are going into, right? Then you learn industry specific skills. As an intern, they train you, or you learn the skills that are specific to that industry you are into. Okay? Now, what are the common mistakes people make? They treat internship as just a formality. Now, what this means is, because it has internship and you're getting very little pay, or not as big as you want it, you then treat it with so much I don't care attitude. Some internships and some graduate training positions can actually lead to full-time employment, and that's what a lot of people do not know. You just feel that it's internship and let's just go. Sometimes you go, sometimes you don't go. You don't even give a reason for not going. Then some people do not ask questions. Please do not let, I'm an introvert. I don't like talking to people. I don't like socializing with people. Do not let that hinder you. Once you have questions, please ask your questions once you see the opportunity. So on that note, if you have questions, please note them down. We'll have a session where we take and answer some questions. Okay. Let's move on to the next one, graduate trainee. Who are eligible? Recent graduates, like the name says, graduate trainee. So it's for recent graduates. You have to be a graduate to apply. Now, for graduate trainees, sometimes it requires a specific degree, which means some graduate training position will require you to have maybe a BSc or a 2-1 or minimum of a 2-2 in a particular field, maybe electrical engineering, agriculture, or whatever it is. So you need to, before you apply for any graduate training position, you need to be sure of the requirements for that role. Okay? Then it requires strong academic performance, like I said. So most of the graduate training have a minimum of 2-1 or 2-2 as your results, like from your university. So you need to be sure of the requirements. If it requires a minimum of 2-1 and you're applying as someone with 2-2, you might not get the position, except it's overlooked eventually. So read through whatever job you are applying for. Now, why do companies use graduate training programs? It gives them a structured development for their future employees rather. Now, graduate training, if you get a graduate training position, the company you're working for, be it a bank, be it an agricultural firm or whatever, they train you based on their needs. Let's say a bank, you get a graduate training position at a bank for sales. Obviously, your training is going to be in line with sales and marketing. They train you based on their need, and it evaluates potential for long-term employment. What this means is a graduate training position can actually lead to a full-time job. That's why I said you need to take whatever entry pathway you're going through, you need to take it seriously because it can actually lead to a full-time employment. Okay? How do you position yourself? Tailor your CV, research the company, prepare for aptitude tests. Most graduate training openings, once you are shortlisted from the first start, from the initial application phase, you then have to write an aptitude test. And this is where a lot of people actually, fail and they don't move forward with them because you do not get up to the cutoff mark for the aptitude test, right? So prepare for an aptitude test. Prepare for usually is a GMAT, but prepare for an aptitude test. There will definitely be one. Then show eagerness to learn and adapt. Let's say you go through the application, you move to the aptitude test, you pass the aptitude test, you move to the interview. During the interview, from the interview phase, you need to show that you are eager to learn and you are willing to contribute and to adapt. Okay? Then we'll be looking at the volunteering route. I'll try to rush this as much as I can so we do not take too much time. The volunteering route. Now, volunteering, I need to not paid, and that's why a lot of people actually run from volunteering. But the importance of volunteering cannot be overemphasized, right? It adds to your CV, it adds some kind of, for me, I have a lot of volunteering experience. I actually like it. I get interested in the person, right? So volunteering, the importance of volunteering cannot be overemphasized. Why it works? Yes, you're volunteering, you're not getting paid, you're not paying them, but you are also learning. Why does it work? Practical experience without formal employment. Yes, it builds credibility and demonstrates initiative, right? It helps you expand your professional network. Volunteering, it does that actually. Okay, how do you move on with volunteering? You need to choose a meaningful project that you connect with. It's not all volunteering opportunity that you jump into. Not all opportunity is an opportunity. Just putting that out there. Not every job opening you see is a job for you. You need to know who you are, what you stand for, what are your values, what are your red flags. Even in a job environment, yes, we have that. Can you work in a toxic environment? Can you work with a toxic boss? Can you work in a place where there is no unity? Everybody's just doing whatever they like. Those are things you need to note down. Those are things you need to know about yourself. Okay? Examples of volunteering opportunities. You can volunteer with NGOs. You can volunteer on a community project. Let's say someone came to you, maybe not necessarily an individual wants to do a community project in your environment and you try to volunteer and help them, make the project successful. Those are things you can include in your CV. Yes, you can. If you know how to present it properly and do not lie in your CV. Freelancing, yes, you can freelance. Let's say you are a UI UX designer and you have maybe a friend that owns a business. You can volunteer to help them, or a graphic designer. You can volunteer to help them design their logo, design their flyer, or design a landing page, a website, whatever it is they want to. Volunteering, they're not getting paid for it, right? But you are using that to build your skills. You are using that to build yourself. Okay? Then the last one is skill or portfolio based. This is especially for people in tech. Like I said, if you're in tech or in data analysis, you need to have a portfolio. This shows your employer what projects have you done, how did you go about it. For people in tech, you see, maybe when you're applying, you see the portfolio link thing where you have to attach a link to that takes them to your portfolio for them to go through and see what you have actually done. And a lot of us don't have a portfolio. So how do you build your portfolio? Take a project. It can be a personal project. If you're doing analysis, there are platforms you can, I think, Kaggle, you can go there and get, data Get data, claim the data, do the presentation, and add it to your portfolio. It is your personal project. Yes, you're not paid for it, but you did it and it's in your portfolio. It counts for you, right? Start small personal project, mock assignment, teamwork, volunteering tasks. All those things are things that can help you build your portfolio. Showcase your results, right? Not just tasks you completed. Not just do the presentation and do not just do the presentation and leave it there. You need to showcase the results you achieved while doing that task. Answer the question. I'll be hitting more on data analysis now. Answer the question that you are asked to answer. For data analysis project, you might be asked to find out why your employees are resigning after 3 months, etc. When you carry out their data, do the survey, get your information, clean the data, present it, do everything. Do not just give them the raw data and tell them to go and interpret it by themselves. Interpret the data you have gotten. It is very important. So what are the tools you can use? What are the tools you can use? For a graphics designer, maybe UI UX designer a bit, you can use Canva, you can use Adobe, you can use Figma. There are platforms you can use. Canva is actually free. Yes, there's the premium package, but you can also use the free package. Like this slide, this beautiful slide you're seeing was made on Canva, right? So you can actually use Canva to build yourself. Start from Canva, build your graphic design, do a flyer, a logo, a sticker, whatever it is. Just keep doing it, and gradually you see that you've gone really, really far, right? Then for tech people, you can use GitHub, Kaggle, etc. For project management, you can use Trello, Notion. There are a lot more. You can research on them. Then for documentation, let's say you like writing, you like, doc writing, etc. You can use Google Doc, you can use Google Slides, you can use Canva also for presentation. This is a PowerPoint presentation, but it was done using Canva, right? So yes, choose a strong portfolio can substitute for your formal experience and make you stand out. Yes. Even let's say you are applying for a role in what can I use now? Data analysis, and you studied something like English and literary studies. Completely different directions, right? But your portfolio can actually prove that yes, I studied English, but that does not mean I do not have the skills required for me to do well in data analysis. So your portfolio can actually substitute for your formal experience. Each pathway provides a unique way to gain experience, demonstrate skill, and get you closer to your first meaningful goal. Like the picture on this slide, you see career, 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 everywhere is career, but you can't be everywhere. Pick one and stick with it. Okay? Let's move on. Now, understanding yourself. This is very important, especially for career switchers, career beginners, NYC members, etc., students even, right? You need to understand yourself. So yes, you see confusion, clarity. Now this will help you avoid confusion and gain clarity, okay? You need to know who you are before deciding what career you want to go into. Now, what are your strengths? What are your interests? What is your personality? Who are you? If you're introverted, sorry, but you have no business in sales and marketing where you have to talk and sell a product from your company. If you're introverted, don't like talking to people, please not go into sales and marketing, except you are willing to grow and improve yourself in that particular field. Or you have some kind of strong interest that overrides your being introverted. Fine. What are your opportunities? What are your values? What do you value? Right? Personally, I can't work in a toxic environment. No matter the amount I am getting paid, it will just not work. If you're that kind of person that you cannot work in a toxic environment, you cannot stand being yelled at, yes, please know all these things. Do not go and get a job because they are paying you a whole lot of money that you feel is big money. Then you take the job over your peace of mind. with a clear head that you do your job and do it clearly and do it well. So please know your values, know who you are. Okay? Clarity about yourself helps you to choose a career path that aligns with your strengths, with your interests, etc. For the personality, probably during the for the post-webinar mail, I would be attaching a personality test link where you can go, take the test, know your strength, your weakness, your opportunity, and your threat. Know more about yourself. It gives you a clear direction on the fields you can go into. So I'll be adding that to the post webinar mail, so you can look forward to that. Now, how do you choose the right path? I love the pictures in the slide. You can see he's looking whether to go left, right, or just keep going straight. Now, how do you choose the right path? Okay? Like I said, not every opportunity is an opportunity, and not every way is a way or is your way, right? So you need to know which way or which opportunity suits you best. Career, everywhere career, but you need to pick which is going to be your own career. Now, how do you choose the right career path? Factors to consider. What are those things you have to consider? I've been saying it, I've been hammering on it. Your strengths and your skill. Your interest is very important. Your personal interest and your passion is also very, very important. Okay. Can we all still see the slide? Before I move forward, can we all still see the slide? You can just use the thumbs up so I know we can see the slide, or any reaction. Okay, Roberto can see the slide. Can we see the slide? I want to be sure before I move forward. Okay, so I don't know why that is happening. So let me just So can we see the slide now? Perfect. Okay. I think probably because I was pinned, that's why that went off. But yes, let me show you the picture that I was talking about. Yeah, this is the picture I was talking about. Career, how to choose your career. Do you go left, do you go right, or do you just keep going forward? That's a very big decision you have to make, right? Now, yes, what are those factors you need to consider when choosing a career path? Your interest and your skills, your passion. What is that thing you can keep doing for 5, 10 years and you will not get tired of doing? What is that thing you can do? And even if you're not paid for the first few months, you would not, just leave it and jump into another field. Those are things you need to consider. The industry demand, right, and the opportunities, the work environment and the work culture. If those things are important to you, you need to put them into consideration. Then what is the potential for growth? In this company, can you grow? In this career, can you grow? Are you stuck in one position, or is it something that you can improve yourself and keep going forward? Now, what are the questions to ask yourself? What questions do you have to ask yourself to decide where or what career you want to choose? Now, where do I see myself in the next 5 to 10 years? Like I said, choose a career that even in the next 5 to 10 years, you will still enjoy doing. And for me, that is human resource and anything that has to do with management, basically. It's something I've been doing for over 5 years now, and it's something that I am still interested in. So, what do you have interest in? Is this something you can do for 5 years, 10 years, and you will still be interested? You still be happy doing. You will not have to beg you or force you to do. Now, will I enjoy the growth process? Now, the growth process is very important. It's that stage where you are not known, you are not heard, nobody knows you, nobody knows what you're doing. That process where it is just you and your learning, you and your growing. Will you enjoy it or you get tired? Very important question to ask. Can I still do this even if I don't make any money for the first few months or even a year. I'll be sharing my story later on of how I dived into human resources. But yes, for the first few months or even a year after choosing your career, will you stick to it even if you're not paid, even if you're not making money off it? Is this something you can still do? What that energizes you? For some people, they do not like to face crowds. They do not like to face people. They rather do the back. They are at the back office doing their work. And some people like to be in front. They like to ask things me like sales people, marketing people. They like being. The nature of their job requires them to be in front. But for people who are more like the back office, the all these tech people, the networking people, and all of that. They are always at the back. They are with their system. They just do their work. You see results. That is it. So what that energizes you? Some people do not like to talk. Like I've been talking this morning, and some people enjoy talking. Right. So what industry aligns with your values, and what skills do you already have that you can leverage on? Now, how to avoid confusion? Focus on starting, not perfecting your first step. You must not be perfect to move on. You must not be perfect to take the first step. Choose a pathway, choose one pathway and one or two pathways and explore it actively. Be open to learning. Be open to learning. Okay? So I will just be true. Okay, yes. Start small and grow fast. I love the images in the slide. Yes. They're picked deliberately to lay emphasis on certain things, right? Now we have the start small, grow fast. Why your first job does not define you. Okay? Your first job does not necessarily mean that is where you must stay, right? Your first job is only a launch pad. It does not define your final destination. So please note that because you started off your career maybe volunteering or interning does not mean you must remain an intern or a volunteer. You must grow. You can start small, but do not remain small. Okay? Many successful professionals started outside their current field. Yes, you can see someone who maybe started off as a customer service representative and decided, oh, okay, I have more interest in tech. And they decided to dive into tech completely. And they're making it really well in tech. So it does not necessarily mean your first job should be your permanent place of residence. No. Okay? What matters is your skill, exposure, and the network you gain. Now, how do you enter any field through a side door? Now, what are side doors? Maybe there are roles that gives you access to an industry, like support roles, assistant roles, internship roles, volunteering roles. These are side doors to enter into any industry. Now, it helps you build credibility, okay? It helps you learn the tools and the skills that you need for that field. And it helps you position yourself better in that field. Now, why is progress greater than perfection? Okay? Waiting to be fully ready delays your growth. I think I have said that before. You cannot say you must have all the certification or you must know everything in a particular industry. Trust me, if you get all the certification you need now, in the next 1 year, the certification body will probably be doing an upgrade, which means you have to sit for another exam or improve yourself, or there will be another certificate somewhere that is higher than the one you have. So saying you wait till you have all the certifications, you're 100% ready would not work. It just delays your progress. Small steps, big results. Start small, keep moving, stay focused. Know where you're going to, know where you're coming from, and decide that you will not remain small. Employers values improvement. Yes, as your employer, I would like to see you grow. I would like to see you do better. I like to see that you're improving yourself and not just remaining where you started. Okay? Action creates clarity. Action creates clarity. Okay? The more you go, the further you go, the more steps you take, the more you learn from the mistakes you've made. Right? Let's say you're in a position, you've not made a mistake, not one forward, not one backward, you're just there. You are just there, basically. No growth, nothing. But let's say you decide to move forward and you make a mistake. Okay, you made a mistake. You noted down what that mistake is. Next time when you see a similar thing, you know what to do. So yes, action creates clarity. Start where you are and with what you have. Growth becomes faster once you take the first step. Yes, it is the first step is usually the hardest. But once you've taken that first step, you just see that you keep going and with God backing you up, you keep moving, right? So start where you are and with what you have. Okay? Story time. How I got in as a beginner. I said I was going to share my story. Okay, so I started human resource while I was in school. I was in 300 level in school. I did a 5-year course and I studied agriculture. Just to put that out there, I didn't study human resource. I did not study management or anything in that line. I studied agriculture, which means zero experience, right? Okay. Sorry about that. Yes. But I joined an organization called ISEC. Okay. I wanted to be sure you can still hear me. Yes. So I started in 300 level and I joined an organization called ISEC. It's an international organization where we bring in interns from other African countries and other parts of the world into Nigeria and we send out interns, okay, to those countries also. But when I joined ISEC, I did not join as a human resource person or an administration person. I joined the operations team, which means the team is in charge of ensuring that people spend their money and leave Nigeria. The organization does not sponsor your flight, your ticket, or your accommodation or anything. Depending on the role, you might get an accommodation, but not compulsorily, right? But I joined and I was in the front office. I joined as a team leader, a team member. Then I became the team leader for talent management. We call that talent management resource in the organization. And my first task was to handle the tasks of the new guys. So once you join the organization, you have to perform a task in 10 days, within 10 days after joining the organization. And later I joined this recruitment session. At the next recruitment session, I was in charge of handling those guys' tasks. Somebody that is less than a year difference when I joined and when they joined, and I had to be like their team lead and oversee everything. But we did that. The tax was in line with the SDG. You just pick a tax in line with the SDG. And we did that. It went well. That was when my interest in management, organizing, and everything started. I didn't go back to operations. Sorry to the operations people. I stayed in the talent management field. And from there, I became the team manager. So you are a team member, a team leader, a team manager, a talent manager, that's the VP, and the president. That's the structure of the organization. Then I became the team manager, and that was where my real interest in human resource started. I started handling recruitment, started handling onboarding, induction, personnel information. It was really interesting to learn for someone who, studied nothing in line with that. It was really interesting. I moved on and I became the vice president. That means I became the overall head for talent management, which we call human resource in the industry space. And I became the head of human resource. And I was the head of human resource for about a year. Then I applied to be the president for the organization in like Abuja, the Abuja chapter of the organization. That was when I became the president for Abuja. So as a president, I had to oversee marketing, I had to oversee sales, I had to oversee the operation, I had to oversee the finance, I had to oversee the human resource. I was in almost all departments. And that is what, boosted my knowledge about human resource, personnel management, and every other thing. Okay, so that is my story. That is how I started. That is how I got in. I started volunteering. ISEC is not paid, which means you volunteer, you spend your money, you do everything with your money. Okay. So I started volunteering. Human resource did not pay me till after graduation, which means I spent about almost 3 years volunteering, purely volunteering. But then I was able to build my skill. I was able to get certifications and all of that. So yes, that is my quick story. Now, what are the practical next steps you can take? What are the next steps you can take? Okay, I don't know. My screen keeps going off. But what are the practical next steps you can take? One, choose a career path, either internship, volunteering, or whatever route you choose. Select one or two roles. It could be marketing, customer services, digital marketing, etc. Then start building your skill. Start learning. Build your credibility and build your skill. It's very important. And document whatever it is you are doing, whatever skill it is you are learning, whatever project you're working on, document it. It is very, very important. Yes, choose a pathway, pick one or two roles of interest, identify beginner friendly skills, and start building your credibility. Very important. So yes, what are the tools? There are free courses that you can, free platforms where you can take courses. We have Allison. It's free. You just pay for your certificate or your diploma. We have Coursera. It's not free, but you can use that to learn. It's a very good platform to learn. We have Udemy. We have LinkedIn Learn. Those are platforms where you can learn, where you can grow and improve yourself and your knowledge. Okay. Then for assessment tools, the test I mentioned earlier, personality test, is 16 personality test. I will still include the link in it. So you can use that test, get to know more about who you are and what career path will fit you better. So yes, I have come to the end of my short, not so short talk. Thank you all for staying with me till the very end. We'll be opening the floor for question and answer now. But for the next series, which is next webinar, you'll be getting a mail as to when that will be. We'll be looking at how to craft a CV that stands out. CV creation. We'll be looking at that for the next series of the webinar. So please stay tuned and we hope to see you then. But for now, if you have any question, please, you can raise your hand or use the chat box, whichever you prefer, and I'll try to answer to the best of my capacity. So yes, any question? Babatu, you can take it over from here.
Thank you, Toyosi, for this webinar. I really learned a lot, and I'm sure that our listeners have also learned quite a few tips to forge ahead in their careers this year. Thank you for taking the time to take us through this whole process. We appreciate your efforts. And like Toyosi mentioned, if you have any questions, please drop in the chat. I had pinned the message so that others that joined later can see it. And yes, so that concludes our webinar. If you have any questions, we'll be here to answer some of your questions. In the meantime, you can follow us on social media. We have our LinkedIn, which is Cedro Royal Multi Ventures on LinkedIn. On Instagram, we are Cedro Royal Ltd or Cedro Royal Multi Ventures on Instagram. And so we'll be also sharing the link to this webinar. We'll be sharing a link with you as a follow-up post this webinar. We'll be sharing a link with you. You can rewatch this webinar on YouTube. You can go over it because most times when you are in these kinds of important webinars, you tend to sometimes forget, especially if you haven't taken notes. So we'll be also sharing the link and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Cedro Royal Multi Ventures on YouTube, so that you are able to rewatch this webinar as many times as you can. You can listen to it while doing your house chores. You can listen to it while driving. You can listen to it while you're at home. It's all going to help you as you go along your career this year. Thank you so much. And to us, okay, so we have one question. Please, how do I join Cedro Royal Group? I have been following for a while now. Chelsea, do you want to take this question?
Okay. Can you hear me? I think everyone can hear me. So how do you join? For now, we are currently not recruiting, but you can send in your application to HR at Federal Real Ltd .com. That's as a mail, send in the full application, and once there's an opening, we'll definitely reach out. We have our database for prospective employees, so you'll be added to that pool. And once we have an opening that suits your CV or that we think fits into what you have to offer, we'll definitely reach out. Okay.
Thank you, Toyosi. And in addition to Toyosi, to what she mentioned, you can stay updated with us on all our social media platforms. We are on X also at Cedro Royal Multiventures on X, Cedro Royal Multiventures on Instagram, and Cedro Royal Multiventures on LinkedIn. We would also, like I mentioned, be putting out this webinar on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube. We'll also be sending out the link to you. We have your emails and we'll follow up post this webinar, and we'll be attaching the link to watch the webinar over and over again. And through our social media channels, you can stay updated with us on all important informations or any new developments within the organization. And that's one way that you can be a part of us. We have your email, which automatically means that we can send you updates, newsletters on any other information we would like to pass across to you. We will do that. And so that's one way to stay updated with us and be part of Cedro Royal by keeping in touch with us through social media, checking out our updates, and that's that. Thank you so much. Do we have more questions
Okay.
from all of you?
Okay. So while we wrap that up, I would like to introduce the team. We have Dr. Fakunle Aramo as Managing Director. We have Aramo Shayo as a Finance Manager. We have Toyosi Janet Baoye as the Human Resource Manager. We have Lubabatu Abubakar, that's our moderator for this event, as our Media and Communications Manager. Yes, she did it really well. Thank you. We have Jessica Young as our executive coordinator, and we have Achimbode Shara as our business development manager. Yes, I remember my humble self to Janet Bauye. You can reach out to either of us through LinkedIn or whichever platform you can find us. But the best platform you can use to reach out to any of us is through Cedro Royal social media on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on X. So we hope to see you all in the next series where we'll be talking about CV and CV drafting. We'll be sending out, we'll also have a template you can follow to update your CV alongside all of that. Yes, the link to the company is in the chat box, so you can just click on the link and it takes you directly to our LinkedIn profile. Okay, so I will wait for about a minute to see if we have any other question. Any other question while Roberto takes over.
Thank you to Toyosi. And so, like I mentioned earlier, and here I have a direct link in the chat box, which takes you directly to our LinkedIn, and you can just click and follow us to stay updated with latest information around what we are doing at Cedro Royal. Thank you. And also, you get to have updates on when the next webinar will be. So, yes, please keep updated with us and click on this link. Thank you.
Okay, so I will take that as we do not have any other question. So thank you all once again for being here, Abel. I see you. Thank you for being here. King Solomon. Mm, okay, I would not like to murder your name. Aaron, Shalom, and Nim. Okay, but thank you all for being here. We really appreciate this and we hope to see you during the next webinar. But I think we can call it a day so we all get back to our busy day.
Yes, Tracy, I think we did justice to this webinar and we hope to see you on our next one. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good day ahead of you all. Thank you again.